Live. Hi, team. Hi, I'm Fitz Kohler, your race announcer and host of the ICE Donna Mother's Day 5K show powered by the Fitzness Show. And I'm glad you're here. We had a wonderful weekend in Jacksonville, as per usual, with the Donna Foundation events. They're golden. They're so flipping fantastic. We had so much fun, and we have lots of stuff to talk about. So I'm going to bring on the Donna Foundation Executive Director and the race director, the woman who works tirelessly every day of the year to make these wonderful events happen so we can serve so many people. Miss Amanda Napolitano. Hellos.
Hi.
You're so great. Congratulations on another spectacular race weekend. Oh.
Are you okay?
My computer started sliding backwards.
You're just so excited to talk about this tonight, Fitz.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Once I was a guest on somebody's podcast, and I always have a drink with me. And the drink totally, I forget what happened, but it dumped over and all the ice went in my lap. And I just ice crotch is not a good experience to do while on live streaming, but whatever.
Doesn't do well with live. Did you just keep going, or did you have to excuse yourself?
I did. I think my eyes rolled back in my head a few times. I was like, sorry, there's a whole bunch of ice in my crotch right now. So I got up and adjusted, and we kept going because you know what? Nobody expects me to be perfect. And that's a great gift of what I do is there are flaws, and I just keep going, and people get
isn't it a beautiful place in your life when you can wake up and look in the mirror and be like, I don't have to be perfect today. Yay.
Ever.
Yeah. Nobody ever will be. And I sort of like it when I screw up on things. It's fun.
It's our family motto, and I've ingrained it with the kids. I always say perfect's boring. We're never ever striving.
Boring is. But Saturday was perfect. But it wasn't boring.
No, not even a little bit. So so first of all, high registration. It was a fantastic turnout.
It was. We, our goal was to get up over 1,000. That's what we really would love to see. And we did. We had 1,044 to be exact. So we were very excited as a team. Very excited just to see everybody coming back out and enjoying themselves with us. I think we talked about this after Donna Marathon Weekend is really beginning to see the community rebound fully from pandemic time and starting to celebrate with all of you once again. And it really has been sort of the virtual numbers declining and the in-person numbers increasing. So yay. In fact, there was a woman that I know that's from my hometown of Macon, Georgia, that has been trying to come to Florida for one of our events. And she tapped me on the shoulder and I turned around and there she was. I'm like, I'm so happy you're here.
How sweet.
Yeah, super great.
Yeah. The other thing I really enjoy is the repeat offenders, like the people that keep coming back. It's the same faces, not all the same faces, but a lot of people who just care, and they're building the Donna Fearless series into their year. And 3 events, totally doable.
Totally doable. And we do have just, announcement. We do actually have our date for the 3rd in the series. So on Saturday, October the 12th, we will be on the back 9 of the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass for the Donna 5K at TPC. And we're working on getting registration open for you guys, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned and get registered, and you can have your 1, 2, 3 of the Fearless Series 2024.
Okay. It's the October 12th, correct? Okay, I'll make sure I got that right. And when can they register?
We are working to open registration now. Okay. So it will probably be in the next, I would say 2 weeks, we'll have it open. So we'll make a big deal of it. This is one of those events that, we do love working with the team at the PGA Tour and also with the clubhouse at TPC. But we do have to sometimes wait a little while until we get our date.
Okay.
So that we're not conflicting with, golf tournaments and other things. So
fair enough. Well, it is such a wonderful location. It's just, you have a knack for pairing really good people and distances, races with beautiful spots. I mean, it helps to be in Jacksonville, right? Florida, for crying
There's
out loud. But
so many beautiful places to run here.
yeah.
And so, I think we've sort of captured the vibe of the whole community, right? So, there's of course the beaches that we have with the half marathon and marathon in February, but also the in and out of the NFL Jaguars Stadium for
Mhm.
5K, and then our river. And I mean, when I first started looking at Jacksonville to move here, my husband and I picked it off a map. We visited one time and we moved here. It had everything we wanted, but I fell madly in love with the Riverside Avondale area because it's very historic and it reminds me of historic Macon, Georgia, where I'm from. All of the river views and the oak canopies and all of that was just, oh, I loved it. But ultimately I married a surfer, so we moved to the beach. But the Mother's Day event on Saturday, that was the vibe of that event, right? Just this beautiful neighborhood, the azaleas everywhere. And
Did the course lead them by the water?
Not this course goes through more of your parks and gardens versus being actually on the river.
Okay.
But we're about a block in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that's normally one of my detriments of doing what I do is I never get to see the course.
You get to see the course.
So people are like, what's a course like? I don't know. You're going to have to do it and tell me about it. But the night before, I went walking down by the river.
Mm-hmm.
And it was dark. It was so beautiful. And the bridge is lit up so lovely. And I thought, well, this is really, really nice. And then every moth in Jacksonville landed in my face in some regard. I think I ate about 14 and there were some just permanently in my eyes. And some went down my shirt.
They were chasing your AirPods.
So when Amanda and I got on before we turned on, I couldn't hear her. And I had my AirPods in my bra. I was like, "Ooh, it's been a fun night, right?" Okay, so this is one of the things I want to tell you. There's a variety of things I want to tell you. But so the pre-race is always a good time because that's when people get to loiter and interact and hang out. I just really enjoy that. And it's so nice that you and I both get to connect with all of our athletes and they introduce themselves. But it was on the schedule, I think, for Donna Deegan, the Donna for the Donna Foundation. If you're watching, you don't know this. She's supposed to show up. And I asked Amanda, I said, is Donna here? And Amanda said, I just talked to her. She should be here. And we just have faith that she will arrive.
Mm-hmm.
She's busy.
Always does.
That's right. Always does. She's mayor of Jacksonville, but we know this is a priority. So she'll show up. So it's about 7:45 on the spot. And I look around and then all of a sudden, boom, she's there. And she looks at me and she goes, there you are. Like I was hiding. I was looking for you. And I said, okay, are you ready? And she looks at me. She goes, what do you want me to say? And I was like, what? What do you mean? What do I want you to say? And I asked her, I was like, what do you mean? She goes, oh, forget it. I got it. So it was just very, very cute. It was a funny response for a woman who talks a whole lot and certainly knows all of, this experience like the back of her hand, but it was so cute.
And my favorite comment was her joking about how people always confuse the two of you. They ask you if you are Donna, and she was like, it's fine for you to say yes, Fitz, because that means that I have legs for days.
Oh my gosh. What's so cute is because I'm so loud, right? I'm the voice of event days that people came and go, they go, thank you so much, Donna, which is so sweet, but I don't want to take credit for all the good she's done. I want them to know like she's the power, she's the engine in this machine. And I'm like, what am I? I'm the horn. I'm the horn. But yeah, I would feel guilty saying, oh, you're welcome, So
my pretty blonde friends get themselves confused.
That's right. And she's also quite noisy too. So there's some similarities, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. But she's certainly led the way. I do really enjoy getting to know everybody. When I grab our Cancer Crushers after they finish their race, when I grab them and ask them, how many years out are you? I love hearing 10 years cancer-free, 18 years, 25. We had someone who was 26 years cancer-free. And again, I don't let this disease haunt me. It really isn't over my shoulder. But when I hear success stories like Donna's and and our other men and women, it really does make me feel, it steals me. It makes me go, okay, I'm going to be there too someday.
Yeah, it does. And that's part of it, right? Yes, it's a beautiful road race. We do a great job.
Yeah.
We have all the things, right? In terms of the logistics and the water stations and the fun party, and it's done very well. Thank you, First Place Sports,
Right.
and Doug and Stuart and all the team there. But it really is a way for us to come together and celebrate each other and remind one another you are not alone. That this is a club you've all become a part of, not necessarily on purpose,
voluntarily,
but it's beautiful, and that's the whole story of putting the lotus flower as the symbol of this event. It's I didn't want to do it. It was hard. It was a little dirty and mucky and kind of gross, but this beautiful flower has bloomed out of it. And part of that is the friendships that we find. It's celebrating with one another. It's this whole lens, this new lens that you have on your life that is full of love and not fear. And it really is something that cancer teaches.
Yeah, it teaches a whole lot. And I tell you, when I grab someone's hand and they say they're 22 years out, I think, great, this is something everyone can hear. It gives, let's say your sister's diagnosed next week, or your mom. It's good for you to have in the back of your head that, oh, there's so many women and men surviving decades beyond. But it's also so great when I grab someone's hand and say, where are you? And they say, I have 5 more chemos to go, to know that in the midst of their treatment, they're out celebrating and being athletic and pursuing health on their terms. I wish I could remember her name. It's not Carol. I mean, it might be Carol. There was a sweet woman who had 5 more chemos left. I wish I could remember her name, but and they come out, they've done, we had someone who was doing chemo on marathon weekend, and she did the marathon, and she did it quickly. And we had a half marathon. We had multiple half marathoners in the middle of treatment. And I just think, whoa, because I certainly would not have been able to do a half or full marathon during my treatment. I had to get all that out of my system, but we have some pretty spicy people that are very capable.
Well, even Donna in the inaugural marathon event in 2008, she was not going to run the marathon. She was going to do the relay with her, fellow anchors on the anchor team from First Place News. She had surgery on her lung, but because it was technically metastatic cancer to the lung, she was put on some pretty gnarly medicines that had her hands and feet really raw.
Yes.
Right. And so, she comes that day, and I tell you that, like all of our events, right, there's just something that just sort of lifts you off the ground. It's this love and hope that's in the air that just lifts you. And she looked at Dr. Perez and said, well, what do you think if I run the marathon today? And Dr. Perez looked at her and said, I can't think of anything that would be better for you. And she
did, doctor.
Right. And she did. Crazy. I can't imagine a story that didn't involve her doing that on that day. It's still, to me, it is a miracle that happened. And I think the miracle is that she's able to share that story and inspire the rest of us to, see the hope and love, because it literally lifts you.
Absolutely. And I read her through rose-colored glasses in February, and it was fantastic. Folks, they also, Donna has it in print copies and audiobook, and I really enjoyed the audiobook.
Yeah. It's one of the reads that I try to listen to every year to remind me of the roots, right? Where we came from, what we're all about. There's a book that she talks about in that book, Love is Letting Go of Fear, by Dr. Jim Powski, and I try to read that one too.
So while we're on the subject of Donna, she's the one I have to get to, but I would like to encourage people, now that it's graduation season, to explore some keynotes. Oh, look, I'm messing with my sign. I've listened to 3 commencement addresses this weekend. My friend Elizabeth spoke at Principia College up north, which I've never even heard of before, but she did an outstanding job. Jerry Seinfeld, fantastic commencement at Duke.
Uh,
Carlton, I can't remember his last name, but a National Geographic photographer who has done so much for protecting Florida wildlife and our wildlife regions at the University of Florida. And so Donna Deegan gave the commencement at her alma mater, FSU. I can't imagine it wasn't spectacular. Do you know if that's available?
I think it is. I watched it on Facebook Live. So I'm assuming if you go to, the Facebook page of Florida State, you can scroll down and see where it landed. Because assuming, it lives there now and you can go back and watch it. But it was the Saturday evening address.
What was her theme?
I mean, it's really a lot of her story, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's what we talk about all the time, right? Is love is letting go of fear, right?
Okay.
It was fun because she went to school there. She had Drew with her son, who is also an FSU alum, and he ran with her on Saturday.
Yes, he did.
Yep, running, hand in hand. Her daughter was on her honeymoon, still on her honeymoon.
Good for her. Looked like a beautiful wedding.
Had a wedding a few weeks ago. But yeah, it was, I mean, every time she speaks, I'm, kind of raising my hand like, amen, sister. So yeah, worth going back. And that's a good idea, right? To go and listen to some of those commencement speeches.
Yeah.
I get to listen to one in a few weeks. I don't know who's speaking.
Oh,
well, my daughter's graduating from high school, so I don't know who the speaker is, though.
You know what I find? Some high schools don't do a full commencement. They do just the valedictorian.
Just the valedictorian and the salutatorian. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they're going to be fabulous too. So
I can say in my entire life, I've never listened to 3 commencements in a weekend on purpose, but they were good. I mean, not all commencements are built like the others, right? But of course, I imagine going to listen to Donna's is a great idea. But I think grownups in general could use that reminder.
Sure.
To follow your passions or the hows. I just think commencement speakers are chosen for a reason. Usually they have something to offer. And if you go on YouTube, you can do it at double speed. So you don't have to listen to the 30-minute. You can make it a 15-minute presentation if you want to, and just absorb that information quicker. But anyways, I'm going to go past that. How was your Mother's Day? I think how was your Mother's Day?
It was wonderful. Thank you. I did very little.
Oh.
Well, I got up and ran.
Nice.
So my friend Andy Sharp joined me for a run.
I love Andy.
I do too. She's my favorite human, one of them. And so we got in about 9 miles of just enjoying the day. And my neighbor has moms and martinis around 1. So we go to the neighbors down the street and beverages and hang out by the pool. And so we did a lot of just relaxing. It was lovely. Ella gave me a t-shirt. It says Mama Knoll.
Cute.
Very cute.
Very cute.
Yep. And Anna drew me a picture of flowers and in ILY.
I love you. Yeah. Can't.
So if you speak tween, you can understand what her picture says.
That's right. Speaking slang. I had a wonderful time at your race. And then as soon as our award ceremony was done, I flew to Detroit to announce another Mother's Day race, the Goddess Mother's Day race in Belle Isle in Detroit. Beautiful. We had a 5K, 10K, 1 miler, which was fantastic. And much like your event, there were tons of mother, daughter, mother, son, 3 generations, which is pretty awesome to see. In Detroit, there was a woman who introduced me to her 93-year-old mother who was doing 1 mile, Madeline. And Madeline told me, she goes, I'm 93 and I exercise every day at my assisted living facility.
Love it.
And I said, that's amazing, Madeline. She goes, yeah. And since the pandemic, I've been writing poetry. I've written 150 poems. So just the cutest little lady. And that's what we're all striving to be, is not only make it to 93, but to do it with some sort of enjoyment in our life, to still be active and be able to move and write and think. And Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when you were talking about the commencement speeches, is, that they're given to humans that are starting a brand new season of their life, right? They're launching into, you can look at it as, well, they're just beginning, right? They're launching their new life, but really they're launching a particular season. And I think we all have that opportunity really at any point in time to say, okay, this is a new season that I'm launching at this time. Which way do I want to launch?
Yeah.
I love it.
I think I'm in one. I mean, in August, I started learning to play guitar. I just decided I'm going to learn. It looks fun. I signed my son up for lessons, and I thought, you know what? I'd like to take some lessons too. I wish I had it right next to me. It's so pretty. It's a blue guitar. I love it. And so I was terrible, and now I'm mediocre. And I love learning. I love being on the struggle bus. I love being bad at something and going to decent and then good, perhaps great one day. And then I did that Dancing with the Stars ballroom competition. And now I'm continuing on with lessons and might do more competition. And it's just in the middle of nowhere in my life, but it's never too late to just, take on a new challenge and be a better version of yourself, right?
Write poetry. Right? I mean, that's awesome. Spring break, we took a trip as a family. We went to Florence and we had an opportunity to tour the Florida State's Florence campus.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they had one.
Yeah. And so, I am, just kind of shaking my soon to be college student going, you have to study abroad. You have to, because if I could, I would go tomorrow and study. I am with you. I love to learn new things. I loved school. I was one of those people that could sit in the classroom forever. So yeah, we can all do those things. Who says we can't?
Wouldn't it be nice if all of our listeners or athletes did something different? Maybe you could challenge, because you've got a huge mailing list, send out and say, Amanda and Fitz say to do something else. We want you to keep running and walking, but like do something else and choose something that you can't do already.
Yep. In October, traditionally we'll launch our Donna 110. Yes. It's a challenge to get all of us off the sofa, right? So for those of us that haven't quite decided, okay, I'm going to come out and do the 5K, for example, the 110 is this concept of, well, between October 1st and Donna Marathon weekend, you have all this time to tackle 110 miles. And if you were to go out and move your body for about 10 or 15 minutes every day, then you would actually get to 110 miles. And we actually award our ultra marathon buckle medal to those athletes, right? So it's like the best bling that we have. And, for these challenges, you can walk, you can run, you can swim, you can bike, you can parasail, you can surf, so that's a great idea. Pick something that you've never done before and, I don't know, see what it's like.
And they get a buckle?
With guitar playing.
They get a buckle? Is that what you said?
A belt buckle.
Okay, so
guess what? With the tradition of an ultra marathoner getting a belt buckle?
Guess who's going to register for your 110 challenge? That is Fitz Kohler, because I'm all about belt buckles.
They're really awesome. I need to find one. I know there's one in a box right over there, but I won't leave you. But ultra marathons traditionally will get a belt buckle as your medal. So instead of a medal, you earn a belt buckle. So we put our belt buckle on a medal,
a ribbon. Yeah.
Take it off and actually wear it as a buckle.
I'm going to do that.
It's so awesome.
It'll look good with my boots. Is anyone watching want to do the ultra marathon with me? The 110 mile. We got 4 months to do it, or 3 at least. 1, 2, 3, 3. Yeah. So join me for that. Here's something totally random. Well, I wanted to tell you what I got for Mother's Day too, because I think Mother's Day is very special. I demand for all of my holidays homemade gifts. I have all the stuff I need, right? I have my shirts and my shoes and my things. And my family is so sarcastic and smart that when they put their mind to work, I always get the most fun and funny gifts ever. And it's not just my kids. I make their friends make me handmade stuff too. And so I thank goodness all my flights went well. Sunday, flew into Gainesville at 4:30. I got home. It was my son and daughter, and then my daughter's best friend and my daughter's boyfriend. And when I was talking to Ginger on the phone, I had said they were going to come over and have dinner at my house for Mother's Day. And I said, I hope they know it would be rude of them to not show up with a homemade gift. And so Ginger made me a bag. She embroidered it with Fitzy and some flowers. Super cute.
Oh, I love it.
Parker made me chocolate covered strawberries, a whole tray that everybody devoured. And then the boyfriend and the best friend also made me handmade cards. And so I think it's totally within reason for everybody to demand things like that from everybody they know, because it's free, right? You're not taking
the ILY.
Just the ILY. That's right. Sometimes I make them write me songs and perform it. There's a whole range of homemade ideas, but I want to pass that along. And then don't feel guilty. Just demand it. Put your foot down. Yes.
Yes. My my youngest is learning guitar.
Oh, so good. How's she doing?
She has a class at school.
Okay.
And so, you know, I really haven't heard much from her throughout the year, but we're getting to the end of the year and they have to do sort of an end of year, you know, I guess it's sort of a test.
Okay.
Teacher of something that they've learned. And so I'm in my bathroom getting ready the other day and she's in my bedroom and I can hear her and I start hearing her playing the song and you know, it's, you know, dun 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 dun, and I'm like, oh, I got sunshine.
Oh, sweet.
I rolled into the room and started singing, you know, what I heard. And she was so excited that I recognized the tune.
Big deal. Yes.
Like she was just like, oh, you recognize the song? And I'm like, of course, it sounds amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Hello, Deb White. I love Deb White. She's beaten up on cancer a couple years ago. She came to the Donna in February. We're best friends now.
We need to know who this cutie is on her profile pic.
That's a cutie. All right. Here's something else random for all the moms to hear because I'm very excited about this. So your kids, I'm sure, watched the Wiggles when they were little.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. And they have the new Wiggles now, the fruit salad Wiggles, but there's several of the OG Wiggles that remain. Anthony, the blue Wiggle, and Patty the pirate. And Anthony is going to be on the Fitzness show. When I get off here with you, I've got a little break, and then at 8:30, Anthony's calling in.
That's so fun. I think you told me about that last week. Because I think I erroneously gave my grumpy song to Yo Gabba Gabba when in reality it was Nick Jr. So, you know, correction.
A public apology. So the Wiggles, I've worked with them for many, many years, and they're doing all sorts of interesting things. They have some sort of rave album come out. It's kind of an electronic kids. It's still kids songs, but with a new vibe. They normally stick with rock and folk. I don't know. They do all sorts of fun stuff, but they've expanded. They do concerts, and I would love for you and everybody watching for us to go to the Wiggles concerts for adults. They actually have they do the Wiggle thing, but to arenas full of grown-ups in Australia. And all the grown-ups come out and drink beer and rock out to the Wiggles. And I'll give teeth to be at something like that. Don't you think that would be fun?
Yes, I do. I think that culture gets kid and adult humor mixed, intertwined really, really, really well.
Have you ever been to a Wiggles concert?
I've not been to a Wiggles concert.
Okay, so it's totally perfect, appropriate entertainment for preschoolers, but there's this very high level adult humor. It's never vulgar or whatever, but it's just they drop these little bombs and all the moms and dads are dying. It's very, I guess I'm like
we watch Bluey on television like every day as a family. Bluey. Have you not watched Bluey?
Is that Blue's Clues today?
No. Oh, no. It's Bluey, and you have to go and watch an episode. It's animated. I believe it's out of Australia.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. And it is one of the best kid shows I have ever watched. And we like to watch it right before we go to bed because it's so zen. I don't know. There's just something about it that when you're always smiling when it ends.
Oh, very cute.
Joyful, happy lesson that you've learned, and you just go to bed thinking, oh, happy.
Bluey. I'm gonna check out Bluey. And we just got updated that cute baby is Deb's granddaughter. Look at you, Deb.
Deb will get to watch Bluey and Wiggles and Teletubbies and all of the things. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful, Deb.
Yeah. Are Teletubbies still a thing?
I don't know.
No. My son was a giant Teletubby for Halloween 2 years ago. Just a 6'1" red. He was Poe, the red Teletubby, and it was outstanding. Okay, so we have gone completely off track, but
still
way
down a rabbit hole right now.
Relevant to moms. So
it is. All of the moms watching are all nodding their heads and saying, yes, I can relate.
That's right. So what was your favorite part of race day? Saturday?
Oh my gosh. I thought the weather was just stunning. The one piece that I can't control, right?
Yeah.
It was coolish, but not, I mean, I think the runners probably got a little warmed up, but the humidity levels weren't there. I felt like we were in California. Kind of blue sky. My hair didn't get all frizzy. It was just a beautiful day. Yeah, that was partly what I enjoyed about it.
So yes to that. And then I also love how our athletes, they get the assignment. They know where they are. They know why they're there. And they come through the finish line happy. And I trust me, I man lots of finish lines throughout the year. And sometimes people are just, well, no matter how much you encourage them, put their hands up or smile, let them know it's free photos. Sometimes people are just real, bores, but our athletes are not bores. And I actually have proof because it's 904 Fitness.
Yes.
Our
my friend Anthony, he does a beautiful job with photography. Thank you.
He's incredible. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
All right, let's show everybody the video. Here we go. I love it. They're so good. They come with such joy.
Yep. My girl was in there. Did you see her? Did you find her did you know you pulled a photo of my girl?
I did not.
Yeah. So my youngest ran and had a great time.
I'm glad. She doesn't normally run with us, does she?
She ran Donna 5K at TPC last October. And she's kind of a last minute decision. I think she's going to run some track next year, and we'll see how things go. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. It's funny. I don't pressure my kids to do my stuff, but sometimes they come out and they'll walk. I get where you're going there.
Yeah, I want her to love it because she loves it, not because she feels, some sort of obligation to me, right?
Yeah, of course.
But she's a great runner. I mean, when she puts her mind to it, I think she's going to be a force. But we'll see what happens. She also
Wow.
wants to ride horses. So we'll see what happens.
Nice. Well, she could do both.
She can.
Perhaps. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Why not go do something else she's bad at? Because it sounds like she's good at those things. So, guitar. We're going to give her a pass. Horses, guitar, running. That's pretty great.
Yep.
Deb, you look great. That's a beautiful picture of us.
Woohoo!
Okay, so some of our athletes I would like to mention is number one, we had a solid turnout from Ainsley's Angels, which I love. Do you arrange that, or are they just registering?
Yes, we worked with Ainsley's Angels and made sure that it was something that her athletes could come and do. We made sure that they had parking and a wave start to get them sort of out ahead of everybody. And then they had a booth actually in our runners village, so that people can learn more about who they are and what they do, and maybe volunteer to be one of their athletes that pushes their athletes. So I love working with organizations like that. I mean, I think the more people that we introduce to the sport and to the event, the better. Part of the reason why I did not want to sell out. I mean, we talk about, it's a sellout, that's happy. To me, there's a piece of me that's like, no, I don't want to do. No, if you want to come and celebrate survivorship and finish breast cancer with me, I want you to be able to do it. I don't want to ever say, I'm sorry, you can't come.
Wow.
Everybody's
I love that you do that. And that's an investment in perhaps more medals than you will pass out and more shirts than you will give away, but it's the right thing to do. I would agree with you. And so folks, if you don't know what Ainsley's Angels is, it's a team similar to Team Hoyt. If you don't know what that is, it's an organization that makes sure everybody has the opportunity to play, to participate, to walk or run in our races. And we do that via racing chairs. And so one athlete sits in the chair, the other one pushes. Quite often it's a family member. And quite often it's just a volunteer who says, I would like to take Team Declan on a ride, or Sophia on a ride. And it's very meaningful to both athletes. And whether you go super fast or super slow, nobody cares. We want you there. And it's interesting. I mean, the kudos to you, because you have a solid turnout. Some races welcome racing chairs, racing duos, and none of them come. You have not only welcomed them, but they have chosen to return every year because you make it very warm. And I think providing up close parking so they can manage the chairs, that's a really important aspect that I think a lot of races might overlook.
Yeah, the logistics of all of the equipment to get unloaded, and we have the adaptive team from Brooks Rehab that come out and race with us Donna Marathon weekend. There's a huge team of them.
Yeah.
And there's some maneuvering to get their whole team and their chairs out in front.
And we had one woman do the 5K in a regular chair. And that is by far and away the most difficult way to do any race, is in a regular chair. I just had someone last week at the OC Marathon do a 5K and a half marathon in a regular chair. And I asked him, I said, how come you don't have a racing chair? He goes, well, because I don't have one. Like it costs, I think it's a few $1,000s for one. So that's another fine place to donate funds to, right? To those racing chairs.
Yeah. And I think that, certainly the Brooks rehabilitation team here has an adaptive sports program that is amazing. So, if you are in a chair and you want to work with other athletes and have access to some of the racing chairs and some of those services, they have just an amazing group, an amazing team. I actually had one of our streakers one year had a terrible fall in the mountains. I may have already told you the story, but one of our athletes, a streaker, so someone who's run with us every year from the very beginning, and we're going into our 18th year now. So, people are invested. And, she had a fall on a hike and really destroyed her ankle. It had to be rebuilt. And so she was, in crutches, and the rehab on that was going to be far longer than what she could train to get out and even walk the half marathon. And so, she called me in tears and, what can I do? And what are some alternatives? And I said, have you ever considered working with the adaptive team and doing the event in a chair? And she just sort of paused and said, I could do that. I'm like, well, I don't see why not. That's sort of the point.
Yeah.
So she did. She worked with the Brooks rehab team. She trained with their team, learned how to use the chair, and raced in a chair that particular year and had the most fun.
That's outstanding.
Kept her streak and then eventually rehabbed to where she's back running with us again. But yeah.
You know what? That's actually a really interesting idea where I don't think enough people use the temporary thing. Okay, you broke your leg. Can you still be a part of the event? Why
Right.
not? I personally, I would love to try out both push rim and hand cycle.
And hand crank, yeah.
Just so I understand it
Mhm.
more. I see it, I respect it, but it would be nice to get in their shoes and give it a try.
She may have done the hand crank is probably what she did. It's been some years now, but yeah.
Okay, so the other thing that I thought was very interesting at the start line, I asked with our running corral, I said, who thinks they're going to win this thing today? And sometimes people will claim it. Usually people are kind of looking at the dirt. But this one woman was like, I'm going to win it. And I just loved her audacity and confidence. And she did. She was our first survivor. So she didn't win the overall or the top female, but she was our champion survivor. I wish I could remember her name.
It starts with a J. It's not Jocelyn, but it's very close to that.
I thought it was like Sherry or something with an E.
We've got to give her the honor and
okay, you're gonna look it up.
Her name. I am grabbing it right now. Janeri, Janeri, Jenarie, Janeri Middleton, and I believe that's the second year in a row that she has been our survivor champion.
Was that right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got a good memory.
Yep, and so yes, the confidence is real.
Wow. I just loved it. I love it when people claim it. I think people think by putting their hands up, they're, I don't know, being a jerk. And I just said, no, if you work hard and you have faith in what you've earned, then let's go. Let's go. And if not, it's funny. You know, sometimes it's an 8-year-old who's like, I'm going to win it. Let's do that.
We're going to win the first 100 yards every single time.
The first 100 yards.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. And then Caleb Pruitt, who he's done almost 100 races so far. If folks aren't familiar with Caleb has Down syndrome. He started running at 14 during the pandemic. His mom wanted to keep him fit, get him going. And folks with Downs are prone to obesity. They're prone to heart disease. There's a variety of health issues that can come with that. And so she said, nothing doing. She's a runner, and she's been not only doing road races with him, but triathlon.
Yep.
He did his very first half marathon ever with us at the Donna half marathon this year, which was awesome. And so much pride, just endless pride over there. And now the big deal is Caleb is racing alone. And so, you know, this sport of ours has given that young man independence, and I'm sure his mom worried that may never come, but he's a little stud. He's so fit. He's so handsome. He's so fun. He was dancing, and yeah, I love having him out there with us.
Yeah, we're so proud of Caleb.
So good. I bet his first marathon will be a Donna marathon. That's my guess. Okay. All right. I'm just making guesses. Okay. There's another group.
Anything.
So there's another woman who comes out every time. I feel like every time I've seen her, I wish I could remember her name, but they're not all in there right now. I'm having a little leak and names are flying out, but she walks with a banner. Basically, I forget the name of the organization, but she promotes not feeling bad if you choose not to have reconstruction. If you've had a mastectomy and you don't want to get an implant or fat transfer, any of that stuff, she promotes feeling good about it. And I really like that. And so Becky Harmon's out there. She also hasn't had the reconstruction. And I've met wonderful women around the country who feel the same way, but it is nice that she's loud and proud about it. So we had a group photo before the race with as many of the Cancer Crusher survivors as we could get. And then she had the banner up. So at some point I was like, okay, put the banner down because it's a Donna event. We want this to be the Donna photo. She goes, it's super flat. I was like, yeah, I get it. I get it. We're just going to put it down for a few photos, but she has every right to be proud. And I think that's that kind of encouragement gives other women the courage not to endure those surgeries if they really don't want to.
If you don't want to, right. It's your body. You do what, what you need to do. I think there is a People magazine that I need to go and hunt down, that there's a big article in it, or and there's some tattoo artists that are working with women, in particular those that have chosen to go flat. And it reminds me a lot of our Brushed Bold project that we did some years ago, where we partnered our breast cancer crushers with local artists. And we, the artist met with these women and really talked about their stories and who they are, and what inspired them through the whole process and everything else. And then the artist sort of created something out of those stories, on the women's bodies. It was a body art. And then we took photos and then had an art exhibit and sold the art and raised money for the Donna Foundation. But it was a beautiful process to watch these women, because we did, everything was in private. We had lots of wine because, you're obviously nervous, right?
Right.
To sit down and just have someone paint your body. Right. And so, but by the end of the process, I mean, these women were walking around. They're like, look at me. This is beautiful. I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. And now this is a piece of art, Yep. I have a piece hanging in my house, actually.
That is very, very sweet. So similarly, in March, I was at a conference for women diagnosed with breast cancer under the age of 40. And so I presented there. I did a presentation. I spoke to a group of metastatic patients. And then one of the nighttime activities, we had a pajama party. It was in this big hotel ballroom. Doors were shut. There were nobody in there other than women who have had breast cancer. So no family, no friends, no nothing. There was one female bartender in the room. And so it was pajama party that turned into lingerie fashion show. And they had sponsors. And I mean, there was 400 of us in there. It was packed. I mean, there's two sides of that story. I'm looking out, and I was hosting it. I was the host of the lingerie fashion show, which was possibly the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. But I'm looking around thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe we've all had breast cancer. This is nightmarish, right? But then they had sponsors that donated all sorts of lingerie. And there were bustiers and panties and little nighties and thongs and boy shorts and ruffles and lace. And some of them were there's a couple of companies that make bras that have just one cup because you only have one breast, right? So it's really a targeted audience or targeted products. And so there's a speaker. There's a speaker, and then people can go pick up lingerie if they want. And then there's this kind of changing area. And so I had, when I found out what I was doing, I made these little bio things. And so I put them on all the tables, and it said your name, where you're from, and who's your favorite Hollywood crush, or what are your hobbies, whatever it is, just a little get to know you thing. And I created the most slamming playlist ever. And we got all the chairs to line the runway. And so everybody came in like a real fashion show. And then they would line up in groups of maybe 10, and they would each go down the runway one at a time. But my first customer, I mean, we had this music was cranks it up, and they lose their mind. They were the most rowdy audience ever. She comes over, and I'm telling everyone, this is Susie Q, whatever. Susie Q strips off her pajamas. She's basically nothing but a thong, and just strutting down the runway. It was the most fabulous, unabashed, unleashed thing I'd ever seen. And then every single woman who followed was wilder and more confident. And some had zero breasts. They had major scars, or they have one breast and one not, or, it every type of issue. And it was such a wonderful environment. Nobody cared if they had a smushy tushy or belly fat or any of those things. They just owned it. It was beautiful. It was so fun. And again, the crowd was raging. It was an hour, and I jumped in too. At some point I was like, stop. Everybody stopped. Pulled off my pajamas, and I did my undie strut too. But it was magic. It was magic. And so I love that, so many folks are making efforts to, make women feel like they're okay. And they are. This is not an easy thing we've been burdened with. It's awful. And the treatments are brutal. And, some of the outcomes are fantastic. And I'm so grateful. I've got no complaints. I'm dinged up and I didn't enjoy the process, but I feel very fortunate to be on the side that I am. But it really is gnarly. It's all very gnarly. And so the fact that you work so hard throughout the year to take care of us and to take care of the women and men who are going through it right now and give a wonderful environment for people to feel confident and whole is just really special.
Yeah, that's a great word for it. Whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
Right back at you.
Love you and Donna and all the things that we all do together. So what's next? What are we going to send people off with?
So we're going to send people off with gratitude, right? Thank you so much to all of you for coming out, for the more than 1,000 of you that just participated in celebrating every mom. To the moms out there, we love you. You're doing an incredible job. You're a bunch of badasses. Keep doing what you're doing and come back to see us next year for Mother's Day weekend. We raised nearly $20,000 for the Donna Foundation through for our fundraising campaign. Yay! So if any of you are still out there fundraising, continue to do so. We'll probably leave it open until about the end of June, and then we'll sort of flip everything over for next year, and hopefully see everybody out there in October. Lots coming up over the next couple of months. We'll be opening registration for the Donna 5K at TPC, and also for the next Donna Marathon weekend in 2025. Yeah, registration will open this summer.
Good. Well, hurry up with that. Hurry up with that, Amanda. Get that open.
I'm going to graduate a kid first, and then we'll get it all ready for you.
Okay. I got a little feedback here.
Yay! I'm so glad. Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, everybody had a great day.
Yeah, always has a good time.
All right, folks. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you follow the Donna Foundation on Instagram and on Facebook to make sure you get all of the updates. If you want to donate, you still can. Start gathering your team for October. You can come alone, but you can also come with all of your coworkers or the other cheer moms or your neighbors. So bring a group and get some sort of matching outfit, because that if nothing else, it entertains me.
I especially enjoyed the gentleman runner. I think he placed in his age group, and he had a beautiful pink tutu on. And his legs were better than mine.
He had great legs. And our Pink Elvis. We have to acknowledge Pink Elvis.
Of course. Pink Elvis is longtime supporter. We love Elvis.
So all of the costumes are welcome. All of the great outfits. Amanda, I'm going to kick you out. I love you so much.
Thank you. Have fun with the Wiggles. And thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
See you soon. Bye, everyone.